In this video, we're going to do a story problem that involves money and coins, and we're going to use two equations with two unknowns to solve it. So let's read through it real carefully and make sure we understand what's going on before we start here. Mrs. Boyd has a desk full of quarters and nickels. If she has a total of 24 coins with a total face value of $4.40, how many of the coins are nickels? Alright, so the first thing you want to do when you're solving a story problem is figure out what you're trying to find, which in this case is nickels. Actually, that's the second thing you want to do. First thing you want to do is read the problem, make sure you understand what's going on. If there's any words in the problem you don't understand, you should go look them up. Just stop, just go look them up, try to figure out what they are. You know, I'm assuming money problems that we all have a pretty good idea, you know, quarters and nickels and value and stuff like that. So moving on here, let's do the next thing, which is we need to define our variables. And this is separates the algebra thinking from the non-algebra thinking, is defining variables. Instead of just jumping in and trying to solve it, you know, well, I'm going to guess she has 10 nickels or something like that, and then trying to figure it out. You know, a more algebraic way to approach the problem. Define a variable, write an equation, and solve it. You know, there's always room for checking your answer and making sure things make sense as we go along, but we're going to approach this algebraically. So let's let D equal the number of, not D, we got quarters and nickels. Let's not do D. We'd do D if we had dimes, right? I mean, you could use D. Why not? Live dangerously. Okay, let's use N for the number of nickels. Now, I'm making a distinction here. This is not the value of the nickels. This is the number of nickels, like how many actual coins. So, you know, if I've got 3 nickels in my hand, N is 3. N is not 15, even though I have 15 cents. And let's go Q equals number of quarters, because we don't know how many quarters there are either. Number of quarters. Okay, so now we need to write two equations, and we can use these two variables in each equation. The first equation is going to come from this fact right here. She has a total of 24 coins. So the number of nickels plus the number of quarters equals 24. If we had a little kid that had no idea how much this was worth, he would just think he had 24 little metal things in his hand, okay? Or she. So our first equation is, let's do it in red to match the underlining, N plus Q equals 24. And we could read it using these words. The number of nickels plus the number of quarters equals 24 coins. Alright, our next equation, let's do that in green, is going to come from this. The total face value of the coins is $4.40. Alright, so let's go back to that example where I had 3 coins in my hand, 3 nickels. And how much was it worth? 15 cents. How did you get that? Well, you times it by 5 cents per nickel. So to get the value of how many coins, the value of the coins that are in your hand, you have to multiply the number of coins times how much they're each worth. That makes sense. So the value of my nickels is 5 cents for each nickel. Alright, that's the value of my nickels, not how many nickels I have, the value of my nickels. Really kind of get the distinction between those two things. So if I have 5 nickels, my value is 25 cents. That makes sense. Okay, hopefully you know what I'm going to write next, right? We need the value of the quarters, 0.25, 25 cents for each quarter. So the value of my nickels plus the value of my quarters is going to tell you the value of all the coins I have, which is $4.40. Now, you could kind of get rid of all the decimals here, which is a good idea. I mean, you might have wanted to do 5N, 5 cents for each nickel, and 25Q, 25 cents for each quarter. Then you'd have to write this as total cents, like 5 cents, 25 cents, 440 cents. And actually, that's not a bad idea, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make that happen algebraically, because, you know, these decimals can be a little bit harder to work with. If we take this whole equation and we multiply it by 100, everything by 100, that's just going to move these decimals all over 2 places, which will put us into cents instead of dollars. 5 cents per nickel plus 25 cents per quarter equals $4.40. I'm sorry, 440 cents is the way to say it. Okay, so now we got our two equations. Now we got to solve these. And usually, you know, I think for a lot of you, once you get your two equations, I'm boxing these, but these are not the answers. Once you get these two equations, you're pretty good at solving them, you know, either by elimination or substitution. And actually on this one, elimination or substitution would work pretty well. I mean, you could use substitution if you took this red equation and minus the q over or minus the n over and substitute it in. Or you could take this red equation and times it by -5 to get your n's to drop out for elimination. Or you could take this red equation and times it by -25 and write it under here and get your q's to drop out. So, you know, it's hard for me making the video to decide which one to do. I mean, you're all probably thinking different things. Might be a good idea to, if I solve it differently than you solve it your way and see if we get the same answer. You know, we should, if we both do it right, which I'm hoping we do. Let's do elimination. I kind of like elimination. So I'm going to take, let's see. Let's take this first equation. Let's get the n's to drop out. So I'm going to go take this bad boy over here. I'm just going to do everything in blue now. And I'm going to take -5 times n plus q equals 24. So I can get -5n and get these n's to drop out. Okay, so if I do that, I get -5n minus 5q, watch your negatives there, equals, remember you have to take the -5 times the 24 also, so that's -120. And this is the part where, you know, you miss a negative or something and everything all gets messed up, so be careful. Okay, now I'm going to take this other equation we have and line it up under there so I can subtract them, or add them together, I mean. So I got 5n plus 25q equals 440. Alright, add these together. My n's drop out. Excellent. I made it that way by multiplying that by 5n. They better drop out. 20q, 25 take away 5, or -5 plus 25. And 440 take away 120 would be 320, which is the same as -120 plus 440. Divide both sides by 20. We're almost home. This is actually coming out nice, which I would hope, because I really don't want fractions of quarters. 16 quarters. Wonderful. All right, what was the question? Oh, I was supposed to find out how many nickels there are. Well, that's not going to be too bad, because my red equation here told me that n plus q equals 24. Remember that from up here? The number of coins I have is 24. So if 16 of them are quarters, then that's going to leave 8 to be nickels. So 8 nickels. I guess I should write. How many are nickels? 8 nickels. Label my answer. And there you have it. Now if you want to check your answer to make sure that it's right, we obviously have 24 coins, so that's good. We could check the value and make sure it is $4.40. So we've got 5 cents for each nickel and 25 cents for each quarter. So 5 cents for 8 nickels would be 40 cents, and 16 quarters, I think that's $4. You could double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's $4. And 40 cents and $4 is $4.40. So I'm pretty happy about that. That checked out. So I'm very confident that we have the right answer.